The Parx Dirt Mile is ungraded at 300,000. It's the ninth race on Saturday's card at Parx. All kinds of stakes races. Racing starts at 11:35. It's a full day and a whole lot of betting opportunities to be sure. And this is no exception. It's run at a mile, of course, for 3-year-olds and up. And we take a look at this field, and we have Coastal Mission, who's the favorite, the most prominent West Virginia bred I think I've ever seen. Film Star for Linda Rice, shipping in from New York. Then we've got Injunction for Doug Cowens, who's come in here with Next, who we're going to see in the Greenwood Cup anxiously. And then we've got Repo Rocks for Jamie Ness, who's kind of the wild card in this race, and some local performers, Mo Visitor, Sevens 11, Adero, and Concealed Carry. This is an interesting field. Most notably, you can see all the horses in this race like to be on the lead or up near it. So it should make for an interesting pace scenario. And certainly the horses who work out a trip are going to be the ones who will benefit here without a doubt. You take a look at them from the front runners. I think Concealed Carry ran the best race of his life last time. And given his back class or lack thereof, I don't see him doing that again, most notably with the likes of Film Star and Mo Visitor in there who want the lead as well. I think one of the defining characteristics of this race are horses who can handle faster fractions. Now, for the local horses like Adero, Mo Visitor, and Concealed Carry, they have tended to run at fractions that are relatively moderate, and that would speak to the lower class rating races that they're running at. So with the presence of Film Star, I think it's assured that the pace will probably be a little more than they want, and I think that certainly compromises their chances. You add in Repo Rocks there for whatever we're going to get, and the pace should be, I don't know if it's going to be really hot, but it should be faster than moderate, and I think that's I think that compromises a few horses in here. Now, Mo Visitor last time was in a race where he had to run a little bit, and this one only has one way to go: get on the front end and try to last. Did not run a very good race, fell right back. But one thing I did note about Mo Visitor is he will bounce right back from a bad effort. So I don't think it's out of the question that he can run a good one here. I just don't think it's good enough class-wise compared to some of the others. But if you want to put him underneath on the try, I can certainly see it. Film Star to me is very intriguing. This is a horse whose graded stakes placed, so this is a bit of a drop down, and this is a $300,000 race, not 100. Sorry about that. Another typo. But Film Star, the back class alone should keep him in the race. I don't think Linda Rice would bring him down there without intent, good intent. I think this horse is poised to run a good race, and if he runs his race, he's going to be awful tough to catch on the front end. He's a hard knocker. This is a horse I've always liked. He always brings it every time, and he has a lot of grit, and I think that's going to be very important in a race like this. I'm not too worried about the 8-hole. I think he'll be able to get to where he wants to without a lot of work, and I think he also has he can recover if he doesn't get the lead. I think he can rate fine. So Film Star, I think, is definitely one to use, and I love him at 5-1. I think that's a really good price for sure. Sevens 11 is a local hard knocker. He's had some good efforts in the past at Parx. He's coming out of a sprint where I thought he ran pretty well. He is able to stretch out to a mile. The waters might be a little deeper here with some of the imports, but I think this is a horse who's in pretty good form, and I would probably think he's more a candidate for underneath, and at 8-1, that's a nice price. So to spice up your trifecta ROI. Injunction is my pick to win this race. He really, since Doug Cowens has taken over his training, he's become a much better horse, in my opinion. He always seemed to be very unreliable to me, But since coming off the layoff and since being with Doug Collins, he has put two solid efforts together. The Schaefer Memorial was a really nice race, and that was a pretty darn good field of grade 3 type performers. And he followed it up with the R.A. Cowboy Jones, where he got a really good second. And losing to Saudi Crown is certainly no sin, and we're not going to hold that against him. I like Injunction a lot. I think this is a horse who is poised third off the layoff. He seems to be getting progressively better with each start. So I think he's poised to run a big one. He's going to be right off the pace. They work out a trip. He should be in good position. And I think he's a logical win candidate. I love him at 6-1 here. This morning line does leave a little bit to be desired. I think the locals are getting a little more favoritism over the more prominent horses shipping in. So, but we'll take that all day. If we can get 6-1, hallelujah, I'll love it. Repo Rocks to me is the wild card in here. Now, we all know Jamie Ness, it's there's question marks. Let's just put it that way. This was a horse who just ran lights out last year. The Toboggan ran that monster race, and he followed it up with a couple other good ones. But Dick Dutrow took over, and I think they probably thought he could get into the graded stakes realm, and it didn't happen. So he's back with Jamie Ness. Now, I've noticed his last two races, he has been getting progressively a little bit better with each race, but he's not running those eye-popping figures that he did under Jamie Ness's care before. So, why is he a wild card? Because, I'm sorry, but it's just a fact of life that we just don't know with Jamie Ness. His reputation precedes him, unfortunately. If Repo Rocks runs the last two races, runs like that, maybe he can get into the money, but I don't think he's good enough to win. We'll just see if there's some adjustments, quote unquote, but I'm going to let him beat me. I can't take a chance on that, and I do like others better in this race. Adero just beat Concealed Carry in, I believe it was the Mayor's Mile, and it was a pretty good race. But the thing about Adero is that most of his effective races have been run at moderate fractions, like 24, 48. I don't think you're going to have that here. And I think that's where he comes up short. At 7-2, I don't really want him at all. I think that's way too short. He's a definite underlay in here. But can he get into the trifecta? Sure, because he will be coming from off the pace. So from that perspective, you can use him underneath. But as a win candidate, I don't think so. And I don't think he's one of the top two in this race. Coastal Mission is a very obvious horse in here. This has been a hard knocker. I like this horse. He seems to bring it every time. His last race was coming off the bench, and so we can forgive him a little bit there. I didn't think he ran badly. He just kind of looked like a horse who needed a race. He got shut off on the rail and really didn't have much of an answer. But again, he looked like a horse who just needed a race, and I fully expect he'll rebound here. 5-2 is I don't know that I like that price very much, but I think he's certainly a horse that we have to pay attention to here, and I would say he's one of the top three without a doubt here. So if we look at our wagering strategy, Injunction's my horse, and we're going to bet him to win. Then we're going to do Cold Exactas with Film Star and Coastal Mission, and then we'll key box 3 with 7, 8, and so hopefully if we get everything our way, we'll get paid 3 times, and that's always, max out the ROI as best we can. For the trifecta, let's do a 3, 7, 8 cold trifecta. Then we'll do a tri-key with 3 on top with 7, 8, and then we'll do kind of a saver with 3 on top with 7, 8, and then we'll use Mo Visitor as well as Adero for 1, 2, 5, and 7, 8. You want to throw Repo Rocks in there, okay. But again, I just have a bad taste in my mouth about that horse, and I don't want to encourage, even in my small way, for horses like that. Call it provincial, say what you want. Maybe I'm a snob about it, I don't know. But I just don't like horses like that. They're just really hard to trust. So I think this is a really good betting race. Certainly we've got Film Star and Injunction, I think we're getting overlays on either of them. So I think this should make for a pretty good payout. Hope our analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy, of course, and we'll wish you the best of luck as always. It's going to be a real fun day of racing at Parx, and I'm looking forward to it. We may have some postings on Churchill Downs because they do have quite a few stakes going on there. So if we can do it, we will. Be on the lookout for that. I'll talk to you soon, and until then, be well.